The night was cold. The stars above the alien colony blinked like tired eyes. The streets were quiet. Too quiet. Not even the wind moved. In a dark alley, something small and fragile stood beside a broken wall. A child. He was not human. His skin was light blue. His eyes glowed softly in the dark like tiny green moons. His hands shook as he touched the still body lying beside him. His mother. She didn't move. The little alien boy pressed his face to her chest. No sound, no breath, just silence. Tears ran down his cheeks. He tried shaking her arm. "Please wake up," he whispered. "Mama, please." No answer. The boy looked around. There were lights in windows, shadows behind curtains. People saw him, but no one came out. They were afraid. No one wanted to help an alien. Miles away, a human man named Jonas walked through the ruined edge of the colony. He was searching for scrap metal, anything useful. His boots crunched softly on the cracked ground. He stopped. His head turned. He heard something, very faint. A cry. Jonas took a breath. Most people would walk away, but not him. He followed the sound. In the alley, the boy had stopped crying. His throat hurt, his body was cold. He curled up beside his mother, trying to keep her warm, his small arms wrapped around her. He didn't notice the tall shadow approaching. Footsteps. The boy sat up quickly, his eyes wide with fear. Jonas stepped into the alley holding a flashlight. When the beam landed on the boy's face, the man froze. He saw the boy's tears. He saw the pale, still woman, and he didn't run. He stepped forward. The boy backed away. His voice shook. "Please don't hurt my mama." Jonas knelt down slowly. He placed the flashlight on the ground. "I won't hurt her," he said in a soft voice. "I want to help." The boy looked unsure. Jonas moved slowly and touched the woman's neck. It was cold, but he felt something, a weak pulse. "She's alive," he whispered. The boy gasped. "You can save her?" Jonas didn't answer. Not yet. He looked at her face, bruised, pale, sick. He had seen this before. "Poison. She needs a med pod," Jonas said. The boy looked confused. "What's a med pod?" "It's a place where machines try to heal people," Jonas explained quickly. "But it's far." "I can walk," the boy said. "Please take her." Jonas hesitated. The streets were dangerous. People didn't like aliens. Helping them could mean trouble. But looking at the small boy's eyes, Jonas knew he couldn't walk away. He lifted the mother gently. She was lighter than he expected. Her bones felt weak. The boy followed him, holding his mother's hand. As they moved through the streets, lights turned on behind windows, faces peeked out. Whispers started. "Is that a human? What's he carrying? An alien? Why is he helping her?" Jonas ignored them. Someone spat near his boots. He kept walking. The boy didn't understand the hate, but he saw the fear in the eyes around them. Then, far ahead, something moved. 3 tall figures in cloaks stepped out from the shadows. Jonas stopped. The tallest one pointed. "Hand her over, human. That woman is not your concern." The boy gripped Jonas's jacket. Jonas shook his head. "She's dying. I'm taking her to a med pod." "She's already dead to us." One of the cloaked figures growled. "She betrayed the council." "She has a child," Jonas snapped. "Then he dies too." Jonas stepped back slowly. He looked for another path, an alley to the side. "Run," he whispered to the boy. "When I say now, run." The boy was scared, but he nodded. The cloaked figures stepped closer. Jonas waited. "Now!" They dashed into the side alley. Jonas ran fast, holding the alien woman in his arms. The boy ran beside him, panting, tears flying from his cheeks. They didn't stop. Behind them, angry voices echoed. After many turns, they reached a quiet, abandoned building. Jonas kicked the door open. Dust flew. Broken lights blinked inside. It was an old EarthTech medical station. He placed the woman onto a dusty table and turned on the power. The machines hummed weakly. The scanner blinked. A slow beep, then another. "She's stable," Jonas said, breathless. But barely. The boy climbed up beside his mother. He held her hand. "She's going to be okay, right?" Jonas looked at the screen. The scan showed poison in her blood, strong, slow. Someone had wanted her to suffer. "I'll do everything I can," Jonas said. Outside, a sound, a whisper, footsteps. They had found them. Jonas picked up a wrench and stood in front of the door. He would fight. For the alien boy. For the mother who wouldn't wake up. Not tonight. Not on his watch. The medical station was cold and dark. Dust floated in the air like old ghosts. Jonas moved quickly, wiping the table, checking wires and starting up forgotten machines. The lights flickered. Weak, but working. The alien woman still hadn't moved. Her skin was pale. Her breathing was shallow. The poison in her blood was slowing everything down. The boy sat beside her, holding her hand tightly. His small fingers were shaking, but his eyes, his glowing green eyes, were full of something strong. Not fear. Hope. Jonas watched him quietly. "You haven't told me your name," he said, crouching beside the child. The boy looked up. "Chiron." Jonas nodded. "I'm Jonas." Chiron looked back at his mother. "Will she wake up?" Jonas didn't answer yet. He looked at the scanner screen. Red lights, symbols flashing. Human systems weren't built for alien biology, but one thing was clear. The poison was spreading fast. "She's fighting," Jonas said softly. "But she's weak. We need to do something soon." Chiron lowered his head. "It's my fault." Jonas blinked. "What do you mean?" Chiron's voice was small, like the crack of dry leaves. "She was protecting me. She said we had to leave. She said bad people would come. I asked too many questions. I said I wanted to see the stars, and now—" He couldn't finish. He just held his mother's hand tighter. Jonas sat beside him. "You didn't do anything wrong," he said, firmly. "You're just a kid, and she's a mother. She did what any good parent would do." Chiron didn't speak, but his eyes began to glow a little brighter. Not from sadness, from something else. Suddenly, the station lights flickered again. Jonas turned fast, grabbing the nearby wrench. The door creaked. Chiron gasped. But it wasn't the enemy. It was the backup generator, finally kicking in. The full scanner system came online. The lights above the medbed turned white. A soft hum filled the room. Jonas rushed to the screen. "This is it," he said. "Let's see what's inside her blood." The scan finished. Lines appeared. Jonas leaned close. Neurotoxin type K7, custom made, and injected. "Someone wanted her dead," Chiron whispered. "It was the council, wasn't it?" Jonas turned. "The council?" Chiron nodded slowly. "Mama used to be one of them. She saw something they were hiding. She said they weren't protecting people anymore. They were using them, so we ran." Jonas stared at him. "How do you know this?" "I listen," Chiron said, "even when they think I'm asleep." Before Jonas could speak, the scanner beeped again. "Emergency option. Life sync compatible." Jonas frowned. He tapped the screen. The machine offered something strange. Transfer partial bioenergy from nearby compatible life form. He stared at the words. The meaning hit him hard. "Wait. It wants to use my energy to keep her alive?" Chiron stood up. "Will it work?" Jonas hesitated. "It might. Or it might kill me. I'm human. This machine wasn't meant for this kind of connection." Chiron didn't know what to say. But then, the boy reached for Jonas's hand. "Please. She's all I have." His glowing eyes were full of tears, but also trust. Jonas swallowed hard. He looked at the medbed. He looked at the scared boy. And then, he took a deep breath and sat beside the alien mother. The machine's cables connected to Jonas's arm. It beeped once, Life sync initiated. A sudden rush of cold hit him, then heat, then a deep ache in his bones. His heart raced. His head felt heavy, but he didn't move. He looked at Chiron. "Stay with me," Jonas whispered. "Tell me a story. Keep me awake." Chiron nodded quickly. "Okay, I'll tell you about my mama. She used to grow yellow flowers on her ship. She said they could glow in the dark, and she loved telling stories. My favorite was the one about the sunbird that," but his voice stopped. His eyes grew wide. Jonas turned his head, barely able to move. The alien mother's hand twitched. One finger moved, then another. Her breathing changed. Chiron leaned close. "Mama." Her lips parted. A weak sound escaped. "Chiron." Jonas smiled, barely conscious. "She's back." The machine beeped again. Sync complete. Energy. Transfer successful. Jonas collapsed beside the bed, sweating, pale. Chiron wrapped his arms around his mother, crying now, but this time from joy. "You came back. You came back." The alien woman looked at Jonas, confused and weak. "Who?" The boy whispered. "Mama. He saved you." Outside, the shadows were moving again. The ones in cloaks were coming. But now, the mother was awake, and she remembered everything. The cell, lights in the med station buzzed softly. Jonas lay on the floor, pale and weak, his breath shallow after the energy transfer. He had given a part of himself to save a stranger, an alien woman he didn't even know. Chiron sat by his mother's side, holding her hand tightly. She was still weak, but awake. Her voice was dry, barely a whisper. Where are we?" "In a safe place," Chiron said, tears still fresh in his eyes. "He saved you, Mama. A human did." She blinked slowly and turned her head. Her gaze landed on Jonas, unconscious, breathing hard. For a moment, she simply stared at him, then her eyes filled with something strange. Not fear, not confusion, but guilt and sorrow. Outside the walls, the air changed. Something moved in the dust-covered streets. Shadows. Tall and slow, cloaked figures gliding through the night. They didn't knock. They didn't shout. They were not looking to talk. They came with quiet feet and silent weapons. The council's trackers. Inside, the woman suddenly sat up. Her body shook, but something in her instincts flared. "Chiron," she whispered. "Someone's coming." The boy's smile vanished. "The cloaked ones?" She nodded. "How do you know?" he asked. She didn't answer. Her hand reached toward her arm. Under her skin, a thin scar glowed faintly. A chip. A tracker once placed by the council. One she thought was deactivated. They had found her. Jonas stirred, coughing. He tried to sit up, but his muscles were heavy like stone. "What's going on?" he asked. "They're here," Chiron whispered. "The bad ones." Jonas forced himself upright. "We need to move." "I'm not strong enough," the woman said, her voice still trembling. "They'll catch us before I take 5 steps." Jonas looked around. He spotted a metal panel on the wall behind it, an old supply shaft. It was narrow, but it could work. "Get inside," he said. "Take Chiron and go through. I'll block the door." "No," Chiron cried. "They'll hurt you." Jonas gave a weak smile. "I'm human, remember? We're stubborn." The woman stared at him. She had heard stories of humans. Cold, cruel, dangerous, but this one, he had given her life back. Now he was ready to stand between her and death. Again. The door creaked. Footsteps, getting closer. Jonas grabbed a heavy tool from the corner. Not much, but it would have to do. The woman touched his arm. "You don't have to do this." "Yes," he said. "I do." He helped her and Chiron into the shaft and sealed it shut just as bang! The main door burst open. 3 cloaked figures entered. They moved like hunters. Jonas stood tall, the metal tool in his hands. The leader stepped forward. His voice was like ice. "Where is she?" "Gone," Jonas said. "And you're not getting her back?" One of them pulled out a strange weapon, a thin silver rod glowing at the tip. "You're interfering with council justice, human. That's a death sentence." "Then do it," Jonas growled. "But you'll have to come through me." Under the floor, in the tight supply shaft, the woman and Chiron crawled slowly. Chiron was scared. The shaft was dark and cold. His mother struggled to move, still weak, but they kept going. "Will he be okay?" Chiron whispered. "I don't know," she said honestly. "But he is brave." Back in the med station, Jonas blocked the hallway. The first cloaked figure stepped forward. Jonas swung the tool hard. Clang! The blow missed and the rod slammed into Jonas's shoulder. He dropped to one knee, gasping, but he didn't fall. He stood again. "You fight for aliens?" The attacker spat. "No," Jonas said, spitting blood. "I fight for people." He punched the second figure hard, sending him crashing into a wall. The leader raised his hand. "Enough," he said coldly. "Kill him." Suddenly, boom, the wall beside the attackers exploded in blue fire. Smoke filled the room. A roar echoed from the hallway. From the shadows stepped a figure wrapped in an energy cloak, eyes glowing the same as Chiron's. The alien woman. She was standing tall now, face calm, but deadly, and in her hand, an ancient alien weapon. She looked at Jonas. "I don't run anymore." Jonas blinked, surprised. "You could barely walk. I remember who I am now," she said. "They took my name, my strength, but I have it back. Thanks to you." The cloaked men turned, and then they saw it in her eyes. They were no longer the hunters. They were the hunted. The fire still burned in the hallway behind them. Smoke curled through the broken door of the old med station. The three cloaked council hunters lay unconscious, defeated. But Jonas was barely standing. His arm was bleeding, his face pale. Yet he smiled when he looked at the alien woman now holding the ancient energy weapon. "You really woke up," he said. She nodded. "Because of you." Chiron ran and hugged his mother tight. She bent down and held him, pressing her face into his small shoulder. A silent tear rolled down her cheek. Then she stood again and her eyes were sharp. "This place is no longer safe," she said. Jonas coughed. "Where can we go?" She looked out the broken door. Then her voice dropped low. "There's one place, but we weren't supposed to go there." Chiron tilted his head. "Where, Mama?" Her eyes narrowed. The Forbidden Clinic. Far from the colony, hidden beneath twisted mountains and black roots, the Forbidden Clinic was once a place of miracles, a mix of alien and human science. A lab where healers, thinkers, and peacekeepers worked together. But it was shut down years ago by the council. They said it was dangerous. They said it was illegal. In truth, it was too powerful and too kind. They didn't want that. The journey was hard. Jonas limped. The mother, still weak, supported him. Chiron held both their hands, walking between them, his eyes always searching the shadows. For hours, they crossed dead fields and empty caves. Finally, they reached it. A tall black gate stood before them. Vines covered the walls. Ancient symbols glowed faintly. Jonas looked up. "This place doesn't feel dead." "It's not," the woman said. "It sleeps." She pressed her hand on a stone. It lit up. The gates slowly opened. Inside, the walls were silver and smooth. Screens lit up as they entered, recognizing her presence. She walked to the center and placed her hand on the main panel. Chi 13. Access code, Surya. Jonas blinked. "That's your name?" She nodded. It was. Before the council took it from me, the machine responded. "Access granted." "Welcome back, Dr. Surya." Chiron gasped. You were a doctor? Soraya smiled faintly. I was more than that. I used to help cure those the council abandoned. Jonas looked around. This place is still alive. These machines, they're waiting. She moved quickly, guiding him to a glowing bed. Lie down. You gave too much. The clinic will heal you now. Jonas hesitated. Soraya's voice softened. Please. Let us return the favor. Jonas nodded and lay back. Chiron watched quietly as glowing lights surrounded Jonas, fixing the damage inside him. His color slowly returned. The cuts sealed. His breath steadied. Hours passed. Soraya worked silently, entering codes, unlocking doors long closed. Chiron sat nearby, watching the machines. Then he asked Mama, why did the council want you gone? Surya paused. Then she sat beside him. I found something, she said slowly. Something deep inside council records, hidden files. They weren't protecting us, Chiron. They were choosing who deserved to live. Chiron's eyes widened. Like a list? She nodded. They used medicine to control people, gave cures to those who obeyed, let others die. Jonas, still resting, heard this. He sat up. Why didn't anyone stop them? I tried, she said. I exposed the truth. But before I could speak publicly, they came for me. I ran with Chiron. I thought I could hide. Jonas stood, now stronger. You don't have to hide anymore, not with this place, not with me. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Red lights flashed across the clinic. Intruder detected. Chiron jumped. They found us again? Jonas ran to the console. It's only one person, he said, approaching fast. Surya stared at the screen, then froze. It's not a council hunter, she whispered. Jonas looked at her. Who then? She stepped back, trembling. It's my brother. Footsteps echoed in the dark halls outside. Soraya stood still. She whispered to Jonas. He used to work here with me. But when the council offered him power, he betrayed everything. Jonas tightened his jaw. So now he's here to finish what they started? Maybe, she said. Or maybe he wants redemption. But Jonas didn't trust it. He stood in front of Chiron. Whatever happens next, he said. You don't go near that door. Soraya placed a hand on her son's head. I won't let him hurt you again, she said. And for the first time, Chiron saw what his mother really was, not just a healer, not just a mother, but a fighter. The silver doors of the forbidden clinic opened with a slow hiss. Soraya's heart beat faster. Her hands trembled, but she stood tall. Jonas stepped beside her, holding a stun baton now recharged by the clinic's power. Chiron peeked from behind the console, hiding. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. And then, a figure appeared. He looked like Surya, but colder, sharper. His long black coat flowed like shadows. His eyes glowed, same green as Chiron's, but darker, older. Soraya spoke first. Tyron. The man smiled faintly. Sister, Jonas whispered. That's your brother? Chiron stared. He had never seen this man before. But somehow, deep in his chest, he felt something strange, something familiar. Tyron stepped forward. Still hiding in dead places, Soraya, she didn't move. You followed council orders. You hunted me. I spared your son, Tyron said. Back then, Jonas tensed. So now you're here to finish the job? Tyron looked at him. No, I'm here because things have changed. Soraya narrowed her eyes. What do you mean? Tyron stepped closer, ignoring Jonas's warning grip on his weapon. The council is splitting. Half of them want Chiron alive. Surya froze. Jonas blinked. Why? Tyron looked at the boy. Because he remembers things he shouldn't. Chiron slowly stepped out. I don't understand, he said softly. Why do they want me? Tyron sighed. Because you were born inside the council's vault. Jonas was confused. Vault? Soraya's voice cracked. No, not the vault. But Tyron nodded. You were pregnant when you fled, he told her. They didn't know. But the boy, he was exposed to everything the council stored in those forbidden chambers. History, secrets, codes. He doesn't just have memories. He absorbed them. Chiron's face twisted in fear. I don't remember anything like that. You do, Tyron said calmly. You just don't know what it means yet. But the council is afraid. Because one day you'll say something, and the galaxy will listen. Surya stepped between her son and brother. I won't let them take him. I'm not here to take him, Tyron said. Jonas raised an eyebrow. Then why are you here? Tyron looked down for a moment. Then, up to warn you. Jonas didn't believe him. After all the chasing, the hunters, the poison, you want us to trust you? Tyron didn't flinch. I did what I had to, he said. But now I'm offering you something else. He reached into his coat and placed a small cube on the table, a memory crystal. Soraya's eyes widened. That's from the core records, Tyron nodded. It holds proof. Proof of what the council did. What they're still doing. You show this, and the people won't follow them anymore. Jonas was still suspicious. And what do you get out of this? Tyron looked at Chiron. I want him safe. Chiron touched the cube. It glowed softly. He saw flashes, a map of the vault. Names, files, images of people the council erased. Cures locked away. Plans for control. He gasped. I know this, he said. I've seen this in dreams. Jonas stepped forward. You were never dreaming, kid. You were remembering. Tyron placed a hand on Chiron's shoulder. You are the key to ending their lies. Surya pulled her son back quickly. Don't touch him. Tyron didn't react. I've done what I came to do, but now you must choose. Suddenly, boom. A tremor shook the clinic. Jonas looked at the ceiling. What was that? Tyron turned, face tense. Too late. They're here. Chiron held the cube tight. Surya backed away. How many? Tyron's voice was grim. A full purge unit. Jonas grabbed a blaster. Then we run. Surya looked at her brother. What will you do? Tyron didn't hesitate. I'll buy you time. The clinic's walls lit red. Warning. Doors breached. Tyron looked back once, locking eyes with Chiron. Remember who you are, he said. Then he vanished into the smoke. Surya led Jonas and Chiron into the deep lower tunnels of the forbidden clinic. As they ran, the boy whispered, Mama. What am I? She stopped and knelt down. You are not a weapon, she said. You are not a mistake. Then what? She touched his chest gently. You are a message, a living truth. And the world is afraid of truth. Above, the council's purge team entered the clinic. But the boy was already gone. And he now held the one thing they feared most. Memory. The tunnels beneath the forbidden clinic were cold, silent and endless. Their walls pulsed with faint blue lights, old energy systems still alive after years of sleep. Jonas held a small torch ahead. Surya walked beside him, holding Chiron's hand tightly. The boy clutched the glowing memory cube close to his chest. None of them spoke. They were running, but not just from soldiers. They were running from a choice they didn't want to make. After nearly an hour, the tunnel opened into a small hidden chamber, round, metallic, and filled with old tech. One large machine stood in the center. Jonas wiped sweat from his forehead and pointed. What is that? Surya walked slowly toward it. It's a core life station, she said. Built. During the early human-alien alliance, it can transfer life energy, repair dying cells, heal damage, mental or physical. She turned to Jonas. It's how you saved me, back in the med station. But this one is stronger. Jonas narrowed his eyes. Stronger? Suraya nodded. It doesn't just heal, it awakens memory buried deep inside someone's mind. Jonas looked at Chiron. You're saying this machine can unlock what he knows? Suraya didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned to her son. Chiron, you still want to help people, don't you? He nodded. Yes. Even if it's hard? Again, he nodded. Suraya took a deep breath. Then I have to tell you something. Something I kept hidden, even from you. She knelt in front of him. You were not just born inside the council's vault. You were made to carry knowledge, a living archive. That's why your memories are strange. Why you dream of things you never saw. Chiron blinked. Then, I'm not normal? Suraya smiled gently. No, you're more than normal. You're rare, beautiful, powerful. But that power comes with danger. Jonas watched carefully. What kind of danger? Surya turned to the core life station. If we use the machine to unlock Chiron's memory, it will wake everything. Names, faces, secrets. But his small body may not survive it. Chiron stepped back. I might die? She shook her head. Not if we use a second donor. Jonas stepped forward. Me? No, she whispered. Me. Silence. Jonas looked shocked. You just got your life back, and now you want to give it up? She looked down. My body is still poisoned. The clinic slowed it, but didn't cure it. My time is already borrowed. Chiron began to cry. No, Mama. Please, don't leave me again. She hugged him tight. I would give 1,000 lives to keep you safe. And if this awakens your truth, if it shows the galaxy what the Council truly is, then I will not be dying in vain. Jonas turned away for a moment. His fists clenched. Then he turned back. There's got to be another way. Let me... But she stopped him with a look. You already gave me your energy once, Jonas. You gave me hope. Let me give something back. Chiron stood trembling. He looked at the machine, then at his mother. I don't want you to go. She smiled through her tears. You're not losing me, Chiron. You're becoming me. You'll carry my memories, my love, my voice. Jonas wiped his face with the back of his hand. This is madness, he whispered. But maybe it's the kind of madness we need. They prepared the station. Jonas powered it up. Suraya and Chiron laid side by side inside the glowing circle. The machine spoke in a calm voice. Energy sync ready. Begin full transfer? Jonas looked at Suraya. She nodded. He pressed the button. The eye, lights flashed. Blue energy wrapped around their bodies. Chiron screamed, not in pain, but from the flood of knowledge. He saw stars being born. He saw war. He saw the faces of council leaders planning silent exterminations. He saw files, codes, secrets meant to stay buried. And in all of it, he felt his mother's voice. Remember why we fight. Remember who we protect. Be kind. Be brave. Minutes passed. Then silence. The lights dimmed. Jonas stepped forward. Chiron lay still, his chest rising slowly. His eyes opened and they glowed brighter than ever before. He sat up. But his voice was different. Calmer. Stronger. I remember everything. Jonas knelt beside him. Are you okay? Chiron nodded slowly, then looked over. Surya's body lay still. No breath. No pulse. Just peace. Chiron placed his hand over her heart and whispered, Thank you, Mama. The chamber was silent. Suraya's body lay still, her face calm, like she was sleeping. Chiron sat beside her, glowing eyes full of tears. He didn't speak. He just held her hand. Jonas stood back, his heart heavy. He had seen many things in his life, but nothing like this. A mother giving her life to unlock the truth inside her child. No medal, no fame, just love and sacrifice. Chiron looked older now, not in his face, but in his eyes. Those green lights that once shimmered with innocence now held centuries of knowledge. He whispered, "I know everything now." Jonas knelt beside him. "What did she give you?" Chiron looked down. Her memories, her dreams, the council's lies, all of it. He opened his palm. The glowing cube, the memory crystal, was now pulsing faster. She gave me the key to wake the galaxy. Suddenly a soft sound filled the chamber. Beep. Chiron and Jonas looked at the machine. Another beep, then another. Jonas rushed to the panel. "It's the core station," he said. "Something's happening." Chiron stood slowly. He looked at his mother's body. A soft light moved across her skin. Fingers twitched, eyes fluttered. And then, Soraya gasped. Jonas stepped back in shock. She's alive!" Chiron shouted. "Mama!" Soraya blinked, dazed. Her lips moved. I wasn't supposed to come back." Chiron hugged her tightly, crying. "But you did." The machine spoke in a calm voice. "Memory transfer complete. Vital energy balanced. Revival successful." Jonas laughed, wiping his face. "Guess the machine decided you both deserve to live." Soraya smiled weakly. "Or maybe the galaxy still needs us." Later, as the three rested near the quiet machine, Chiron explained everything he now knew. The Council's been hiding technology that could end starvation, disease, even war. But they kept it locked away to keep power. Jonas shook his head. "And now you hold their secrets?" Chiron nodded. "Every last one," Surya added. "But information means nothing without action." Jonas looked at them both. "So what now?" Chiron stood. His small body still looked fragile, but his voice was steady. "We share it. We show the truth. The Council has controlled people with fear and lies. But people still believe in hope. We give them something to believe in again." They returned to the surface days later, quietly, disguised, but not hiding. They moved from outpost to outpost. Chiron, now called the Witness, began telling his story. Soraya helped repair old communication stations. Jonas protected them with all he had. Word spread. A child with glowing eyes was speaking truths the Council denied. And slowly, resistance grew. On a faraway world deep within a palace of mirrors, Council leaders watched the fire spread. One spoke, coldly. "He's just a child." Another replied, "A child carrying a revolution." Back in the stars, Chiron stood on a platform, speaking to hundreds of gathered beings, human and alien. "My mother gave her life for me, and then the universe gave her back. We are more than what they let us be. We are alive, and we will not be silent." Behind him stood Soraya, strong again. Beside him, Jonas, the man who answered a cry in the dark when no one else did. Together. They were not just survivors. They were the spark. In the end, the galaxy didn't change in one day. But it did change. Because one human listened to a silent cry. Because one mother refused to let evil win. Because one boy remembered too much and spoke it out loud.